And we're live. How you doing, everybody?
Good morning.
Morning.
Let me introduce you to the cast of the gentleman roundtable of the TechReact and Chris. From the West Coast, we have Chris Keefe. How you doing? Coming to the East Coast. From the South Coast, we have Steve, who just got back from the East Coast.
Yeah.
And always at the East Coast is my buddy David.
Morning, all.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
David and Marco are two frozen nuts.
Put simply.
Steve and I went out to dinner the other night. I thought I'd lost a couple of parts.
It was cold that night. Ooh.
So today we're talking about killing Google. I hope this doesn't make the NSA or the other things there. And really what I want to talk about is all the applications that Google killed. And maybe have a moment of rest in peace along with Mr. Spock there.
I think some of them need a celebration as well.
Yeah. So the whole thing started, my only thought started here by looking at Google Helpouts, which is slated to be killed on April 20th. And I don't believe you guys ever used Google Helpouts.
I did. Actually.
I love that.
I tried it for a couple of weeks. Really just uninstalled it after that. So it was that good.
I liked it. I always tried to get into it. I never got a invitation. The other one on the list is Panoramio. I never heard of this one.
I think none of us have heard of it.
Okay, good.
That's why it's getting killed.
I think that was killed. Oh no, it's announced to be killed.
Maybe that one was only released in China.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, I didn't either. Google X killed off redesign of the Google search page. Nobody?
No.
I didn't know that this one was killed off. Voice search.
I didn't know that was killed off either. Has
Yeah.
anybody used it? That's the real question.
Well, I guess not.
I used it once or twice.
But what's the difference between Google Voice Search and Google Now?
I think it was the one before. But can you do voice search on your desktop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can.
Yes, if you have a non-Apple.
I can do it too.
Yeah.
I think it works on the MacBook. I remember using it at one point. I mean, I tried it at one point or another. I can't say I used it, but
So I don't know what they're talking about. Let's see it still.
maybe it's the app. It's the separate. There was a separate app, Google Voice Search, in the App Store. Maybe that's what it is.
Here's one. You guys remember Web Accelerator?
Yeah, actually, never used it, but I remember it.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Wasn't that the thing that takes an HTML5 page and turns it into HTML 1.0 for you, so it goes faster?
I'm not sure. I think that it was something.
Something along those lines.
Google Buzz.
Google Buzz. Did Google Buzz get folded into Google Plus?
I don't know.
I think we could go with
I don't
that. I think we folded a lot of crap into Google Plus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, some of these were killed off and folded in. Like it says, Google Docs was killed off and integrated into Google Drive.
Yeah, I think Google Plus should just be called Google Borg. Thing is just picking up every little bit and piece of stuff that they don't know what to do with, and they're sticking it in it, and they still don't know what to do with it. It's like a parking lot for dead apps.
Yeah.
I liked Google Plus because it's not so spammy, and it tends to be more intelligent driven, more more driven around real content and real people.
All kidding aside, Google Plus has 3 really good features that I use pretty much every day. One is it allows you to, if you have a paid Google Cloud account with any real storage, it backs up your photos automatically, and it puts it in the old Picasa section, which I used to like Picasa a lot. So it gives it to you in your web Picasa as well as your Google Photos. The other thing it does that's really neat is if you allow it to, and you're comfortable with this, you can have it actually populate your contact database with Google Plus details, which means you get the person's photo and some other details you may not have known about them. So it's kind of neat as a sales guy cyber stalking people. And the other thing that I think is useful, because I did say there was 3, right, was I think it's really helpful for sharing out albums with people, where you just send them a link and they get it easily. So if you take photos, you don't have to worry about emailing them anymore. So those are the main things I use it for personally.
So you like Picasa?
I do. Yes. If you notice the way I said that, yeah. I always have liked it in the past, at least.
Is that still there? Is Picasso still there?
Picasa Web is. I don't know if they've done any dev work on the app lately, but the web version, I mean, it wasn't a bad. I've just been using it for so many years as a place to park photos.
What about your article that you wrote on this, Chris?
Well, I wrote an article several years ago, and I can't find it now, about Google's attempts at discontinued social networks. There was Google Wave, if anybody remembers.
I remember the Wave. Yep.
I think I actually believe that you and I were on
of course,
the air when that came out. Remember, we had this whole thing about what the hell is it?
Yep.
I remember that.
Yep.
That's like a while ago, but I remember that.
I think.
What about Google Talk? Didn't you use that? Oh, is that being folded into Google Hangouts?
Well, it is already. I mean, if you go to Google Hangouts, if you go to if you have a Gmail account and you're in Gmail and you look at your chat, they integrated Google Talk into it. But what's happened is it's now converted to Google Hangouts. But you can revert to it by go see old version, and Google Talk is still there, kind of, sort of. You can use it.
Oh, you guys remember iGoogle?
I was a fan of iGoogle. I used to use that as my homepage for years. I was really disappointed when they got rid of it. It was like I'd have customized news that would just pop up.
And
I think it became a little heavy for the browsers, though, eventually. But it was kind of cool. I thought it was a decent concept.
Oh wow! So somebody bought iGoogle Portal.
Really?
Yeah, it looks just like iGoogle. That's funny. I always hated iGoogle because it reminded me of the old days. There used to be like those what were the old search engines?
Alta Vista.
Lycos.
Lycos.
Oh my God.
Or how about Quarterdeck search engine? Remember they had one?
Yeah.
The
Dogpile.
Yeah.
It's like Web Navigator or something crazy like that.
I was thinking about YouTube last week, and I was thinking about. I think we were all talking about Broadcast.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to look at it because I always thought that Broadcast.com was sold for $1 billion to Yahoo.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
How much?
$5.9 million.
5.9 million.
No, billion.
Oh, billion.
Oh, okay.
No wonder Mark Cuban's doing so well.
Yeah. That's a hell of a deal.
Maybe that was just his take of that. Was his take just the billion, or?
Not a hobby anymore, that's for sure.
I don't know, but you remember you and I were talking about it over dinner the other night?
Yeah.
And it never, ever worked.
Yeah, that was the shortest.
But here's the funniest thing. Go to your browser and do broadcast.com.
What is it? Man.
Broadcast.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yahoo. At least on mine.
Still at Yahoo. Takes you to Yahoo.
Yes, your old legacy is a 301 redirect.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Well.
Is that amazing or what?
Yeah, Google homepage. Terrible.
$5.9 billion, and it's a 301 redirect.
Wow.
And, back to the iGoogle thing, Yahoo has a pretty nice looking homepage as far as the way they've set it up, right? I mean, you can see it here.
Who does
That's
Yahoo?
what I used. That's what I used iGoogle for, right? But there is
Yeah, that's
nothing
what I
for
used
Google.
it for too.
Now you could bookmark Google News if you want, but it's just not as nice.
But is that important? Is that like the old school stuff? Is that important to have that home page?
It isn't, but if if your browser opens and you actually sit while you're having a cup of coffee, don't feel like doing anything just yet, it's not bad to have kind of like your front page of your newspaper on the screen.
So mine set to blank.
Well,
I
mine
did
is
that with Flipboard today.
mine is too.
What'd you say, Chris?
I use Flipboard today to browse news when I have 5 minutes to browse news.
On your desktop or tablet?
I usually end up doing it on the phone, standing on the bus, holding on with one hand.
That's what I mean. Because I mean, on the phone, I'm consuming most of my news anyways from mobile devices, not from a laptop. I mean, my home page is actually just the Google search page. That's what comes up when my browser launches. It's been like that since I Googled to discontinue.
Yeah.
I haven't swapped it out with Yahoo or anything else.
But I do too. I was really a little bit upset about Flipboard on the website. But I'm a big Flipboard user.
Yeah, I've never used the website.
It's
I'm trying to think
brand
about
new.
it.
It's like maybe.
I didn't even know they had one, to be fair.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was just the app.
I thought it was just mobile, but that's how I mean, my phone has it. If you swipe right on my phone, it takes you to a Flipboard desktop, and it's got like everything on it, which is kind of fun once in a while.
Yeah, it's about a couple of weeks old.
Huh. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
But we are talking about things Google has killed, right? And try to figure out why and if there's a theme here.
Yeah, what do you got?
There's a list that's just giant. It's crazy, right? I mean, do we think Google may kill Android? We talked about that a little last week since companies like Samsung just released a Tizen phone, which is another I think you say it Tizen, right? That's another Linux platform for a phone, and apparently it's selling fairly well in the markets that it's in, which is not here.
I don't know if there's a theme. I mean, it just seems like if I were Google, and I'm not, I would think that you'd want to do things that either bring you money or bring you growth or bring you engagement.
Yeah, I think there's one more. Right, there's a piece in the Wall Street Journal a few weeks back, right, that they're starting to become under increasing pressure to return some of that $80 billion in cash they're sitting on to shareholders too, right, versus invest them in some of these one-off apps or projects.
Or rolls of the dice, as I like to call them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's for sure.
Does anybody have a way of encrypting text? I guess something like Vine or something?
Encrypting text? You mean for text messages and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm an old
There's
PGP
several
guy.
encryption apps, but it means you're texting inside an app. It's not a straight SMS text.
Okay. So it's interesting. What do you guys? What was the take from the Wall Street Journal, Steve?
It was basically saying that they're probably at some point here they're starting to have some investor pressure, but I mean, it hasn't got to a point where they've obviously stopped, but that there was some hypothesis around what happens if somebody like a Carl Icahn invests in them and starts really putting pressure to return some of that cash to shareholders. What does it do to all of these projects, the self-driving car and Google Glass and all of these things that are huge,
What is the benefit of the self-driving car? Is that to obtain the data from where you're going?
I'm sure that's part of it.
But they get it anyways from a lot of the cars.
Mm-hmm.
Every car, in the next few years, every car is going to have a modem in it. Every car that has a modem built in, they know where you're going.
Yeah.
I'll buy a self-driving car the moment it's available.
I know you will. We've been talking about it for years.
We put that in the book already.
The question is, are you going to buy the rumored Apple car, the Google car? You know, it's going to be a whole. It's going to take brand loyalty to a new level when people are driving it.
Chris is going to buy a Windows car.
A Windows car.
Awesome. First car to have control alt delete on the steering wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Windows 3.1.
Ouch.
All right, guys. This was a low topic, so I apologize for that. But we'll come back next week with a better topic and see where we go from there.
Sounds good. I got one question for you guys. Google Listen. Anybody use it? Know what the hell it is?
Google what?
Listen. I've seen the app before. Downloaded it once. Didn't really get it.
So one of those things like the Amazon thing where it just listens to what you're doing and then.
No, it's like a podcaster kind of thing or something along those lines. It's just very unintuitive.
I don't know anything.
Clueless on that one.
Yeah, just curious if thought somebody else might have screwed around with it besides me, and it was as lost as I was or had an answer.
We're all lost.
Apparently.
Which is probably why these things fail from Google.
Yeah.
That was my point, by the way.
I wonder if that's an issue. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back next week with a much more exciting topic. And I'll talk to you then. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.